Around about this time every Wednesday, you should know by now that we pay tribute to women in sport. This is our Women in Sport Wednesdays feature. And today, I've got a woman. I gave my colleagues a headache a little bit earlier, Dumisani, because I don't know if you're aware. We pride ourselves here on Wednesdays in honoring women in sport who are doing incredible things, all right? And like Lionel Messi, like Michael Schumacher, with record titles and everything, I'm putting you up there.
So much pressure.
You, number one, were the first ever woman in sport guest here on the AM Report, and you are the first one to make 2 appearances on AM Report as a woman in sport guest. That is right up there with Messi, Ronaldo, Schumacher, LeBron James, everyone.
Can I get that in writing, please?
I'll do you one better.
Signed,
I'll send you that invisible medal later on as a sign of respect to you and your work.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much for being here. First of all, the Netball League is finally getting underway after months and months of postponement. Surely at some point you thought, we're going to lose this year, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, so throughout the lockdown, there was so much uncertainty. We weren't sure whether it was going to happen or not. And Netball South Africa kept insisting, yes, it's going to happen, yes, it's going to happen. And we just kept our fingers, our toes, everything crossed that it actually does happen. And now that it is happening, from the 14th to the 27th of October down in Bloemfontein, we're already traveling down to the bubble tomorrow to get started with our preparations in there. So, yeah, we're excited, ecstatic. We just cannot wait to actually just get there and see this whole thing unfold right in front of us.
How strange is it? Let's talk about the bubble. How strange is it? We've already seen it in football here in South Africa, the first of its kind. History was made. It looked weird from the fans' perspective.
Yeah.
And you are going to be one of those taking part in a bubble. How strange is that?
It's super strange because we are used to having our fans out in the stands singing, screaming, shouting. We are used to our girls because every match they dance for the crowd, every team. And now all of a sudden there'll be no one in the stands to be dancing to. And also, you know, the singing, Masambe no no, you know, that vibe.
It's not
and you miss it. And I saw what they did with the NBA. They had the artificial crowd and the clapping and the screaming and shouting. It's just not the same. So we've prepared ourselves for that. We'll just see how it unfolds in Bloemfontein.
Do you need to prepare with some sort of artificial crowd or something like that?
Well, we prepared without a crowd, where we just focus on the playing, and we prepared with some noise happening on the outside, should that then come into play. But whatever it is that is going to be happening, we've prepared for it. We're ready.
All right. In your team, you are the newly appointed coach of the Gauteng Golden Fireballs. Congratulations on that appointment. How far are you looking at? What's your target? Because I think the highest the Fireballs have ended in this tournament is 5th place.
Yeah, I know earlier on they did end in the top 3, but then that was like way back when it was still brutal fruit, and currently they're coming in at number 6 in the A division, and with the under-21s coming in as an invitational team at number 7.
Yes.
So we're definitely not wanting to come back home as number 6. We are working towards a top 4 finish, and the cherry on top would be a podium finish for us.
Okay, you've got experience. I saw, I think Bongiwem Somi is part of your team, experienced international player. Do you have a nice blend of youth and experience just to make sure you leave something there? If it happens after the tournament, you're no longer the coach. Now you can say, at least I brought in some youngsters to learn something from the experienced players like Bongiwem Somi.
Yeah, absolutely. It's critical for you to have sort of like a pathway for athletes, and it's sort of like a handing over of a baton from the senior players, like the international players, going to the provincial players. And we've got some newly selected SC under-21 players in there, and we've got some really young players, 20-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds that are in the system, part of the Fireball squad. So we've got a nice mixture of experience, inexperience, young and I won't say old, I'll say mature.
Yeah. Okay, there's 2 invitational sides as well from KZN and the Western Cape. What do you think of that increase in the number of participating teams this year?
Well, they're not invitational. I think they're just additions. So they've been added onto the.
So that's how it's going to stay.
Yes.
Okay.
So like Gauteng, we have 2 teams in Gauteng. So now Western Cape is going to have 2 teams, and KwaZulu-Natal is also going to have 2 teams. Well, for us as coaches, it's a great initiative, and thank you to Netball South Africa and Telkom for adding those 2 teams, because now it's 28 new players coming onto the fore. 28 new talent that we get to look at, we get to select the national squad from. So it's a welcome addition, and I can't wait to see some of the new youngsters coming into the system, because we don't know all the players. So it will be exciting to see the new faces, the new names. I mean, some of these kids are going to start unknown, obviously. By the end of the 27th, we will know some of these youngsters, and some of them will become household names.
They should become household names if they've got coaches like you. Now, let me off-ramp a little bit. You've been doing some work with coaches and umpires, most recently this past weekend.
Yeah, so Betway South Africa decided that they wanted to assist with the development of netball, especially on a grassroots level. So usually when we talk grassroots, it's about players, right? But they decided to take a different route, and this time they wanted to look at the development of coaches and umpires, and we were busy with that this past Saturday down in Ekurhuleni.
All right, let's leave it there. Dumisani Chauke is the new coach of the Gauteng Golden Fireballs, who will be looking for a podium finish at this year's Telkom Netball League. We know that they can win with a coach of Dumisani's caliber. And by the way, she's not only the coach of the Golden Fireballs, she's also the assistant coach of the national team, the Proteas. She is part of the team that will be making sure that South Africa wins the World Cup in 2023 on home soil. And that's where we're going to be leaving it, and throw back to Michelle and Ayanda.